I've got a special one for me here to take a look at today. I was able to find this 2006 Lenovo IBM ThinkPad T60 at a local thrift store for a few dollars. I believe the 2006 ThinkPad, though designed and manufactured by Lenovo at that point, was one of the, if not the last ThinkPads that IBM had significant design input into. I use the modern IBM ThinkPads for work. They look alright, but they look nowhere as good as these IBM models do. My first computer was an IBM ThinkPad. I don't remember which model, but it was a really cool device, and I love and still do love the designs of these older IBM ThinkPads. This looks pretty similar to what I had, so this gives me a lot of nostalgia. Let's take a quick look at what I/O this has. Here on the side we have VGA, looks like RJ11 and RJ45, a couple audio jacks, our USB. Looks like an accessory reader here. On the front, our wireless switch. On the other side here, we have our, looks like a hard drive bay, a DVD drive there, 2 more USB. On the back is our barrel power. Looks like this came from Redmond Technology Partners, so that's probably somewhere in Washington. Let's take a look at what's inside and see what we're dealing with. Got a little latch there at the front. Again, I love the design on the inside. Maybe it's not for everyone, but the mouse nub and the extra set of mouse buttons and the blue accents as well, they look really good. This one looks like it's been laying around for a while. It's actually pretty dirty. Here's a note from the previous owner. The guest password is password. We'll have to see if that works. Looks like we also have a fingerprint scanner. These older ThinkPad keyboards are a joy to type on, and I love the array of lights just below the screen here as well. I think that's just pretty cool. Sweet, seems to take power there. Maybe our battery is even charging according to the light there, but we are at least plugged in. Let's turn it on and see if it even works. Okay, well, looks like we have a check date and time settings error. Not quite sure what that means. Probably because its battery has been dead for such a long time. The CMOS battery probably out of whack. Let's press F1. Oh man, it looks like we have a BIOS password here, some kind of boot password. Maybe it's password. We could try password. Nope. How about admin? Okay, well, it looks like I'm gonna need to do some digging around and see if I can bypass this older password here. I'll be back when I do that. Well, after looking online, I found a guide about this very issue, resetting the BIOS/boot password. So I took the wrist rest off and gained access to a couple pins I needed to short. I didn't think I had something small enough to act as a lead for the short, so I bent a staple and held it in place with a pair of tweezers. It didn't work a few times, giving me some mixed errors, but I was finally able to get into the BIOS and clear that BIOS boot password. Okay, well, so now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's boot this up and see what we're working with. Oh man, Ubuntu. I haven't seen Ubuntu for years. I haven't been in Ubuntu for years. This is so cool. Well, looks like we got a user here, Nagano, and a guest session here as well. Guest session, funnily enough, does not have a password, as suggested by our sticker here. Maybe there's another user called guest, though. Password. I guess not. Let's just see if there's anything in the guest session then. Well, it doesn't look like anything too special here. We just got the kind of standard Ubuntu stuff here, Firefox, the LibreOffice suite there. Just check the directories real quick, see if there's any files. No, doesn't look like anything there. Okay, really doesn't look like there's anything in this guest account then. Let's try to take a look at Nagano's account and see what we can find in there. So I don't know his password, so give me a minute and let me see if I remember how to do this. Okay, well, it took me a minute, but I was able to reset Nagano's password and get into his account here. So let's just take a look at what he's got. Just to be clear, I'm looking at what's inside for fun. I have really no intention of stealing any information, if there is any in here. Mostly just curious about what the laptop was being used for. Okay, looks like we got some kind of Firefox wallpaper there. Nothing too special, looks like. An empty folder. Oh, a couple pictures here. What do we got going here? Something about Seattle Tilth. So, at least I was right, this is from Washington. That makes sense with that Redmond sticker there. Kauai beaches there. Okay. And a picture of a wine glass with something in it. Doesn't look like wine, could be wine. No music. Couple pictures there, I won't bother to open those up. A trash folder with nothing in it. And of course we can't connect to that Windows network there. But it looks like maybe he had some network thing going on there, which is pretty cool. Let's see if we can, is there email we can check for Nagano? Nope, doesn't look like he set that up or it timed out the cache, whatever that was there before. Nope, zero music. Looks like no audiobooks, no videos, no podcasts, no radio. I like how Internet Archive is listed down here as online media. That's great. That's actually really cool. It's cool taking a look at the Ubuntu Software Center here. As you can see, they had some stuff here. They had World of Goo there for 20 bucks. Also add, if you ever get one of these older ThinkPads yourself, I did run into a problem that was consistent freezing and lockups within Ubuntu here when the battery that I had here that came with this laptop was inserted. Now, to be fair, this battery looks like a replacement battery, not the original that came with it, so that might be part of the problem. But when I did take this out, then I did not experience any more lockup and freezing. So I blame the battery. Not sure why that would be the case, but it seems to be correlated somehow. Anyway, let's see if we can hop into some Windows distribution and try something out in there. Okay, well, I got a Windows Vista hard drive in here, so we're loaded up into Vista. I pulled this hard drive from another laptop that we'll probably take a look at in another video, so here's a bit of a pre-show on that. But yeah, we're running Windows Vista here on the T60. Through here, let's take a look at what we're working with as far as specs. System information says we're working with an Intel T2500. So it's 2 cores, 2 threads. As far as RAM is concerned, we are at 1 gig of RAM. So not a whole lot again, especially for today's standards. But back in the day, that was pretty good. I do gotta say, for some reason, the mice that I plugged in initially didn't work, and I had to do a reboot to get them to work. But it finally took the G402 at least through USB here, so I'll take a win there. Other than that, I got Halo and Star Wars Republic Commando installed like I usually do. Let's try out Halo and see how that works. Okay, well, it looks like with Halo we're immediately running into an issue here. It's saying that our video hardware is below the recommended minimum spec for the game, but it's giving me the option to continue anyway, so let's just do that.
I'm bringing your health monitors online, sir.
Yeah, so far it is a bit laggy. It looks like you can see there's a lot of just dropped frames. Just not a good frame consistency here. Fortunately, I don't have fraps or anything loaded up, but you can tell that it's not a smooth experience here. Let's see if it improves. In fact, let's just check settings here real quick and make sure that we are indeed on the lowest possible settings. Okay, I'm going to try staying on 800 by 600, what was on before. All of the settings were set to high, so I turned those down to low to see how that goes. That does feel immediately a lot better. Well, here now I'm loaded up into the second save file, also known as we're on Halo for the first time here in this game. So let's see how it does. Immediately I notice it's still got a bit of sluggishness to it. So yeah, it definitely feels like maybe this hardware isn't like right here. We're dropping something. But yeah, it definitely feels like this hardware probably isn't up to spec, but you know, it's working. So we're gonna have a lot of sprites here and a lot of movement. This will be interesting to see how it works. Yeah, this is very sluggish, very sluggish. Yeah, we're dropping frames all over the place. It is really fun playing this back on a ThinkPad, though. Combat Evolved was one of the first games that I really played ever. For some reason, it was being passed around, if I remember correctly, being passed around my school on school computers somehow, saved locally. So my brother got a hold of that, and I remember playing this, the local LAN at least of it. I never did get far in the campaign, so maybe now I have a reason to play the campaign on some older hardware here. Well, I'll play a little bit more of this, and then we'll check out Republic Commando, see if that does any better or any worse. But yeah, it's fun, but especially in these firefights, it's not very playable, unfortunately. So yeah, kind of playable if you want to play with many less frames than what you'd like, but you're definitely at least getting tens of frames. So let's try out Republic Commando here and see what it's like. Well, for Republic Commando, we're also getting the kind of the video graphics warning here. Hey, let's try it though. Halo wasn't too bad. How bad can this be? Republic Commando came out in 05, but this is a 06 laptop, so we should be good to go, right? Alrighty, so we finally landed here in Republic Commando. Gotta say, so far it looks alright actually. It's definitely got a little bit of lag, but and the frames aren't great, but it's playable. Let's see, we might be able to turn down the settings with this as well. Okay, well truly with Republic Commando, were the settings set to low here, so nothing I can do extra. This is as good as it's gonna get. Well, cool. Made it to the first checkpoint there. Played okay. Lots of drop frames there, and not really playable FPS. So it's kind of fun experiment, but I wouldn't actually try playing the whole game like this. It would not be fun. But it was cool checking out. Well, to wrap this video up then, I gotta say it was pretty fun taking a look at this and playing around with it a little bit. Pretty cool seeing what the previous user was using it for too. I mean, didn't look like they did a whole bunch, but it was cool seeing someone using Linux on these older devices. It's kind of what, you know, a lot of people preach nowadays, is to put Linux on these slower machines. Looks like that person at least tried to do that for a little while. Maybe didn't use it a whole lot, but yeah, it's cool to see that every once in a while, and it's cool to try out some older technology as well. Halo and Public Commando didn't really run very well, but then again, this machine wasn't a gaming machine. It doesn't have a dedicated graphics card either, so I guess that was kind of to be expected. Anyway, let me know down below if you've ever messed with one of these IBM ThinkPads before, or if you're currently using some of the newer Lenovo ThinkPad stuff yourself, and if you like it. I don't know, I have mixed feelings on Lenovo ThinkPads. I definitely prefer the styling and the looks of these IBM ThinkPads, but let me know down in the comments below. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you later.